We are back. Let's go, everybody. I'm a little hyped up tonight. I'm excited. Got me a good nap in. This is the Three Man Rush podcast with your host, Landon Oliver, and my two fantastic co-hosts, Andrew Scott and Big Jared Holly. What is up, boys?
Not much, man. Nap's the theme. I got me a short one in too before the show.
I have no idea what naps are, but I'm ready for another couple hours of football talk, though. Real quick, before we get started, while we're still at the very beginning, before we get into the fun stuff, I need to take a second for something a little serious.
Yep.
Friend of the show, friend of mine, friend of ours, Zach Whitaker. He yesterday his baby boy was born, which is awesome news. You know, like that's huge. Congratulations on that.
Congratulations.
The serious part about that is after his birth, they found out that he had acid in his bloodstream, which was called metabolic acidosis. So he's 72 hours of pretty intense care coming that little baby's way. Hopefully everything should be okay beyond those 72 hours. But as a new parent, certainly not the way you picture starting off life as a parent, and something that can be extremely scary. So if you believe in the power of prayer, I would ask, keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers. Send positive vibes their way. If you want to help out with medical bills and things like that, somebody did set up a GoFundMe for the family. You can find that. Zach Whitaker is on Twitter at Real Tone Diggs, Real Tone DIGZ. He retweeted the link for the GoFundMe there. So if you want to go help a family out, obviously you don't have to have kids to know how tough medical bills can be.
Just to make it easier, what we'll do is we'll retweet it on our page as well. So you can go to the Three Man Rush podcast and you can find the GoFundMe on there as well.
Yeah. So just, I know we usually stick to the fun stuff on here, but look, if there's ever an episode that could possibly blow up and hit 1K views again, I would love for it to be the first 2 minutes of this one, just so as many people can hear that as possible. Zach's one of the best dudes I know, and it's a shame for anybody to have to go through this, but my heart really hurts for him. So, for you guys are out there, if you want to help out, those are some ways to do so. But at the very least, just keep the family in your thoughts and prayers. And hopefully here in a couple days, the family be back together as they should be. But until then, our thoughts are with you, Zach. He's been a good.
We're thinking of you, buddy, for sure.
For us, so
yeah, he's awesome guy. And then also too, I do want to send out our thoughts. And like Drew said, if you believe in prayers, send that out, to the families down in Florida and the residents down in Florida dealing with the hurricane right now. A lot of families are losing homes, pets, who knows? Hopefully there's, very minimal or hopefully no loss of life as well. But it's rough down there right now. So I want to send them our thoughts and prayers as well. And then also rest in peace to my boy Coolio. Got that news. Never a good thing, man. It's that's a weird one, man. We've lost DMX, Coolio, Biz Marquee. Like a lot of these guys that we were teenagers and young adults and stuff, growing up with, and it's just not fun getting old, man. It's not fun.
Sadly, we still have Machine Gun Kelly though.
Damn. Out of left field.
Damn, Jared.
I meant
squirt gun.
Machine Gun 182.
182.
I apologize.
Squirt gun 182. All right. Well, way to bring the mood back. Let's get back.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We are locked back in now.
Man, we're back in. Jared over there with the Eminem from the top rope trying to end careers all over again. Jesus, I love it. All right. So if you joined us yesterday, you saw the 8 game, or you either saw or you listened to the 8 games. We want to thank you guys for the support as well on that. If you did tune in, and we're ready for another one, man. It's going to be a good game. We're going to kick off here with Drew. Go ahead and throw up our first game we're going to get to, and that is
throw up.
Jared's on fire tonight.
Oh man, you guys are making it easy for me,
dude. Jared's got to get more naps in.
I know. I'm rested. I love this game. I don't even know what I'm saying about throw up. This is exactly the kind of games I like right here.
Yeah, well, speak for yourself.
Nah.
So, if you are listening, we are talking about the Cleveland Browns versus the Atlanta Falcons. And just to give you the money line on this, the Browns are -1.5 favorites coming into this game, -125 favorites on the money line with a 49.5 over under. So a little more high scoring than what you might think it might be. This could be a fun game. Most notably, if you're a running back of the Cleveland Browns, I think this could be a fun game for you. I saw something today. So the Cleveland Browns, I believe, have the highest rushing EPA of any team in like the last 20 years. Yeah, they said like the only one that's even relatively close, and it's still not really that close, is the 2019 Ravens. So that's kind of where the Cleveland Browns are at. You're talking about a historic rushing offense through 3 weeks. The season, we will see how that continues to play out. But good news is Jacoby Brissett's playing well. Defense is kind of looking okay. David Njoku showing up big this last week. What do you guys make of the Browns offense? Is this kind of like for real, or is this kind of just, the benefit of playing some rough teams to start the season?
It's a little bit of both. I think the one thing Brissett does well is he doesn't really he doesn't kill them, and they're a run-first team. That's what they've been.
Very safe. He's a very safe quarterback.
He's a safe quarterback. They've been a run-first team now for like several years, and they've got one of the best running backs in the NFL, and Nick Chubb, and they have by far the RB2, the best RB2 in the NFL, Kareem Hunt. So, I mean, if you got those guys, there's really no reason to go up and down the field with air raid. But I do think Amari Cooper showed up last week. I think he's definitely the best receiver they've had in a long time on that team. Even better than Odell Beckham Jr., in my opinion. Amari Cooper's a great route runner, underrated. I think he gets a lot of hate, unnecessary hate a lot of times. And I think Njoku is a good player. Myles Garrett's definitely probably not playing on Sunday after the car accident.
Man, that looked bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Apparently, he's still going to try to play.
Luckily it's like minor injuries, but I would probably keep him out.
I would be shocked if he played. But anyways, I think the Browns, quite honestly, I think both the quarterbacks on these teams have, through 3 weeks, have kind of overachieved expectations. I think Mariota's played a lot better than what a lot of people thought he was going to as well.
Yeah, I would agree. For
me, we're kind of on Mariota a little bit before the season started.
Mariota won me some money in week 1.
He played well for fantasy. I benched Carson Wentz for Mariota in a 2-quarterback league last week. So
that was a good call.
Good call. I like Big Marcus. He's a good dude.
I think for me that the story to me is that through 3 weeks, in my opinion, Nick Chubb's been the best running back in football this year. And I don't think the competition is going to get any stiffer for him this week. So I would expect another huge game from Nick Chubb here. And like Jared said, they have a great running back too as well. And Kareem Hunt has still been getting plenty of opportunities in terms of, the touches he's been getting on a weekly basis. And if he gets that again this week with this matchup, I think he could, Jared had kind of already alluded to it a little bit earlier, but they both could be very, very huge reasons why the Browns win this game if they do end up winning it. But yeah, I don't think Nick Chubb gets talked about enough. And so I just need to take a moment to talk about how extremely good he's looked running the ball through 3 weeks. I mean, the dude's just unreal, and he does it year after year. But this year, even more so to me through, it's only 3 weeks, but he's looked so good the first 3 weeks of this year. And so, just want to give him his flowers too while we're on the game.
Shout out, like, as we know, like offensive line play matters, and the Browns do have the best. To me, they have other than Philadelphia, I think the Browns right now have best offensive line in football.
Definitely at the top.
Yeah, Wyatt Teller, the guard there, is one of the top 5 greatest offensive, or like graded, not greatest, but top 5 graded offensive linemen in football right now overall. Like whether center, tackles, guard, doesn't matter. He's playing on another level right now, and certainly with those road graders and stuff there, it makes life. You're living good if you're a Cleveland Browns running back for sure.
Yeah, and I think Brissett's been good enough too to where they have to respect the pass.
It turns out that trading a 5th round pick for Amari Cooper was a good deal. Who could have seen that?
Imagine that.
Crazy to think about that. I mean, you could either have Amari Cooper or you could have Jalen Reagor. Which
tough call.
Yeah. Which one would you rather have? That being said, we do want to, get to the happy ending here of this preview. The Browns and the Atlanta Falcons. Just to stick with the theme, though, it's not going to be happy for the Cleveland Browns because I'm picking the Falcons to win this game because I will not be picking the Browns at all this year.
I don't pick games based off morals, so I'll take the Cleveland Browns.
I will absolutely.
I too toss my morals out the window for game picks, and will also be taking the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, well, I do not. There's some things that I can't look past, and that's one of them. So, all right, let's get on to our next game here, and we're going to be starting with the Commanders and the Cowboys. So, Carson Wentz back in the NFC East, back to gifting the NFC East. Lots of sacks, and it's not going to get any easier up against this defensive line here. Speaking of giving flowers, I really do think we need to give Micah Parsons his flowers.
Yes.
Second best. I wouldn't even really. I know Drew's going to hate it, but I wouldn't argue this year if you would say that he's the best defensive player in football. But I think we can all clearly agree that other than Aaron Donald, he's probably the most dominant defensive player in football right now at the moment.
Yeah, I would obviously disagree if somebody wanted to say that, but I don't hate it. I get it. He's been dominant.
He's that good. Which is not a slight to Aaron Donald. It's more of a way, what we're saying. It's like we need to prop up Micah Parsons for what.
Yeah. He's absolutely. I mean, if you don't think he's better than Aaron Donald this year, I don't see how he could be any worse than the second best defensive player.
1A, 1B right now.
Yeah,
whatever
he stands out, man. I mean, I watched that game and
flashes.
It's just apparent how good he is, and he doesn't always. Aaron Donald's the same way, so they don't always get the sack, but they're getting all the attention, and they're the ones bulldozing everybody's for the other person to get the sack.
Marcus Lawrence showed up really big too.
Yeah, he had 4 sacks, 3 sacks,
3. I think 3. A lot of that was caused, though, by Micah Parsons. And as we know, the Washington Commanders are coming off a 9-sack performance given up to the Philadelphia Eagles, who also have a really good pass rush. But that being said, they don't have a pass rusher quite like Micah Parsons. Mm-hmm. So it'll be really curious to see if that Commanders offensive line. Now, you can I would credit at least 4 to 5 of those to Carson Wentz from what I've watched of the film. I think Wentz was responsible for about 4 or 5 of those sacks. But the other 9, I mean, he's under pressure a lot. So I mean, it's just it's bad line play. Bad for whatever reason. They have really long developing routes because I know they want to push the ball down the field, but there's no quick outs. There's no quick decisions. Wentz does tend to hold the ball, and all that compounded with an offensive line leads to days like you had Sunday for the Commanders. It all kind of ends up making things look a lot worse than what they might actually be. But we'll see how that looks. Jared, I know you're high on one of the guys in this game. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so my hopes and prayers for DFS in Week 4, another fun slate, is Terry McLaurin this week. I really like. And I don't think anybody's going to play him. The one thing that Dallas does well is sack the quarterback. The other thing they do is give up big plays. And Trayvon Diggs is the trick or treat of cornerbacks. He can definitely wreck a game and turn a pick into 6 points really quick for Dallas. But he also is very aggressive on the ball and gives up huge plays. I think this is the week that Terry McLaurin gets it done, as long as they can somewhat control that pass rush of Dallas.
Yeah, that's going to be like those two really do go hand in hand because Terry McLaurin, if he's going to have a big game, he's going to need to be able to beat the Dallas secondary downfield, and for him to be able to get downfield, the offensive line is going to have to give Wentz time, and Wentz has no problem holding on to the ball to let him get downfield before throwing it. Like he loves the deep ball, so if the offensive line can give him time, I could definitely see that playing out. But those two things definitely do go hand in hand for this call to play out.
I think Washington's going to have to roll out like 2 tight end sets, use them as blockers more too, which is not Logan Thomas's strength. I do not like Logan Thomas this week at all in DFS. Spoiler alert on that, but they're gonna have to try to control those guys from the pass rush, and they're gonna have to block. They're gonna use everybody they can to protect.
This to me, this would be a game that I would kind of look to get Curtis Samuel more involved in personally.
They've gotten Curtis Samuel very involved this season, which is
great.
That's
what I'm saying. I think this is the type of game though that I would kind of look, to use some of those quicker passes, those, curl, or not necessarily curls, but drag routes. Just try to get the ball out quick. Let him create. He's a guy that he's very adept at taking very small gains and making them very big gains. And I think if you can get the ball out quickly to a guy like that, you could have some success there. So that would be a guy like that I would kind of target a little bit as well. Maybe not in DFS. I don't really know kind of what he's going for, what his usage is, but I just mean like as far as the game plan goes, I think he could have a good game this week.
Right now, the DFS community is treating Curtis Samuel like Justin Jefferson as far as ownership. And that's why I'm all over McLaurin this week, is because no one's going to play him, and he's capable of blowing up a game.
Maybe some like end arounds with Curtis Samuel would be pretty good too. Plus, you still have Antonio Gibson. They need to get him more involved in the passing game.
How about Mr. 3-0 as a starter, Cooper Rush?
I think that's another person that deserves his flowers too.
He's played really well, man.
He's done well to keep this team afloat. I mean, everybody, pretty much everybody, including myself, was ready to write this team off once Dak went down. I was like, well, we've seen this movie before. Dallas is about to be a dumpster fire, and hadn't been the case. Now, granted, I wasn't very high on the New York Giants anyway, so that wasn't like the toughest opponent. But I mean, I'm still, even despite the slow start, I'm still high on the Cincinnati Bengals, and they handled the Bengals.
Shout out Mike McCarthy, man. He's had that team really prepared to play the last few weeks. Kellen Moore's done a pretty decent job as well over the last few weeks, getting that offense ready to go and prepared. And they're playing comfortable. Cooper Rush is playing really good ball right now.
They should get Michael Gallup back this week too.
Yep, Gallup should be back. Dak should probably be back. You're probably looking not this week, but possibly next week. I know there's a chance for it. So
we're going to get Dak and Hopkins back at the same time.
Yeah. Is what?
I think DeAndre Hopkins makes his debut in week 5 too.
Oh, he had a 6-game suspension, I think.
6? Shoot.
Week 7.
Yeah. So
he'll sit on my bench a little bit.
If you were curious, though, about the point spread, so the Cowboys are favored in this one because it is Cowboys at home. They're playing in Dallas. So at Jerry World, Cowboys are favored by 3.5 with a 182 money line, 42.5 point over under. I actually think this game might go over. This could be a fun game. So when Washington does decide they want to score, they score in bunches. And when they don't score, it's rough. So I'm curious to see which Washington team shows up. For me, I was actually the good one because I need Carson Wentz to play at least 8 more weeks after this so we can get that early second-round pick. So, yeah, let's move on. Well, we got to pick a game. I'm actually going to do it. Shout out to my stepdad, Randy. Shout out to Big David, Jared's stepdad. Let's go with the Dallas Cowboys this week.
Stepdad theme. I've got the Dallas Cowboys at home.
Yep, I've got the Dallas Cowboys as well.
Yeah, any more stepdad references? I think we were going to have to put a parental advisory on this episode. It's turning to Brazzers or something over here. Stepdads. All right, let's get on to our next game.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars at Philadelphia Eagles. So these are both teams that I did do all 22 reviews on this week. Really excited to talk about them, but I've been waiting since yesterday Jared teased us a little bit, the little Jaguars take, and we told him to wait for this episode. Me and Drew, just hold off a little bit, hold off. But we've waited 24 hours. It's been steaming all day. You've been ready to go. So go ahead and unleash this take. I'm curious to see what you got here about the Jaguars.
Oh, I'll keep it calm. This is the best team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles, against the best team in the AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's not even a hot take. I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFL right now on offense and defense. And I think Jacksonville Jaguars, as of 3 weeks into the season, are like they're getting after the quarterback. A lot of people are going to give a lot of credit to Herbert being injured. I don't know if it would have made a difference. I really don't. The way that Jacksonville is playing defense, the way they're getting after the quarterback, they're rolling Trevor Lawrence out. He's got weapons out the wazoo. Like, everybody can laugh about their weapons and laugh about all the offseason. Let's throw money at Christian Kirk. All he's done for 3 weeks is ball out. James Robinson, he's gone. We drafted Travis Etienne. Nope. Guess what? James Robinson's still their best running back. And it's to a point now where we have to recognize, and this is the frustrating part, we've watched so much bad football over the last 3 weeks. Tampa Bay looks terrible. Green Bay's offense is abysmal. The Bears are throwing 11 to 13 times a game. And you got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who signed Christian Kirk for a ridiculous contract with one of the best offenses in football through 3 weeks. Yeah. That's my hot take. Evan Ingram, nobody wanted him. He's a bust. He's terrible. He's playing well in Jacksonville. And that's a credit to your coaching staff, too. They're the best team in AFC South.
Zay Jones had himself.
I don't know if they're the best overall roster in the AFC South, but
they're the best team in the AFC South.
They're playing the best football right now, for sure. I said, well, there's two things. So we said on this show, one of my guys for the season coming into the season was Christian Kirk. And I laid out some of the advanced analytics and some of the stuff that pointed to him having a career year and being a really good football player. It's cool to see this actually turn, for one, we get it right every now and then. We give you a lot of takes. We get a lot of takes wrong. I specifically get a lot of takes wrong.
I'll tell you somebody that's missing Christian Kirk right now, and that's Kyler Murray. Look at that team. And I'm not saying Christian Kirk is Devontae Adams.
But this is the difference. No, this is the difference. Is whenever he was used properly in Arizona, which was a very rare occurrence.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury doesn't really understand how to do that.
Yeah, so he was very productive. He was actually one of the most productive wide receivers in football. Whenever you know how to use him correctly. Enter Doug Peterson, who to me, we can say Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, Christian Kirk, Russell Wilson's on the move, Matt Ryan's on the move. All these players are getting moved. One of the, if not the biggest move, possibly not even just for this season, but for multiple seasons, that happened in the NFL was Doug Peterson coaching the Jaguars, because he has completely changed the trajectory of where this team was headed.
Trevor Lawrence's career, especially.
That's basically what I'm saying. Because we were looking at it through last season, a train wreck, a dumpster fire. Everybody made fun. I know, like me and Drew, we like to crack jokes on Trent Baalke or whatever, however you want to pronounce his name.
Clown time.
Yeah, the jokes kind of write themselves, but they made some good moves, and then they go in with the Travon Walker pick, and everybody criticized. How could you take?
He looked great on Sunday.
He's been great through 3 weeks.
He's really good. He's looked really good. Yeah. Josh Allen, one of the best pass rushers of football. Which let's
talk about one guy we were high on him that we loved them grabbing at the back of the first. He had no
Devin Lloyd.
There was Devin Lloyd. That man has been playing football for 3 weeks, dude. He has been a stud.
Yeah, they've completely – so those draft picks and that coaching move completely changed the trajectory of where this franchise was headed. They're
a fun team to watch.
So fun to watch. They're so good. James Robinson, man. I know, everybody gets caught up. I know Drew's big on draft capital and stuff like that.
yeah.
James Robinson's the best
running
running
back. Context makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's.
good.
I'm big on draft capital whenever you talk about fantasy because the predicting fantasy success.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, I get it.
Draft capital has
but there are certain cases where eventually, like, it just doesn't matter. I think this is one of those cases where James Robinson is undrafted. He's one of the best running backs in football, and he's been one of the best running backs in football from the moment he stepped on the field his rookie year. We all saw the Achilles injury. We didn't know how it was going to work. Somehow, like I know Drew mentioned this yesterday, somehow he's gotten faster after an Achilles injury. It makes literally no sense. Yeah, literally makes no sense. He's pulling away from guys. He's breaking off big runs. The offensive line is playing really well, really good. Their right tackle, Jawan Taylor, gave up 0 pressures last week against the Chargers defense on that right side there with Khalil Mack and Bosa. 0 pressures. This was a pick that was looked at as a bust a year ago. Cam Robinson, everybody laughed about them overpaying him at left tackle, playing really good.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I was one of the people that was vocal that I thought that was a mistake.
Yeah, playing fantastic.
Proving me very wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting
that. A lot of people very wrong. And I think we liked the moves. It's very similar to the Bengals situation last year, where I think we all agreed on the show that we liked the direction they were headed because we did like their draft, especially Devin Lloyd. We were championing that pick. And some of the other picks they made, we also liked. But it was kind of like, okay, like, let's see, where Trevor Lawrence is in year 2. Let's see how this coaching staff changes things. But we liked generally the direction they were heading. Getting
honest to God question right now. Who would you like? We had Green Bay at Tampa Bay this week. Let's say everyone's fully healthy on both those teams. Their roster. Would you rather watch Green Bay and Tampa Bay or Detroit versus Jacksonville?
Green Bay and Tampa Bay if we're talking about everybody being fully healthy. Like if Brady has Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin.
Okay. Bad example.
I don't think it's a bad example, honestly.
I mean, it also depends on what you're.
Because me personally, it
also depends on what you're looking for.
You know how I am. I'm a freaking crackhead, so I would probably take the Jaguars and the Lions.
I'm not gonna no knock to either one of these guys, but I'm not gonna pass up 2 future Hall of Famers playing against each other with fully healthy teams if that's one of my options.
The good thing about having 3 TVs in here is I don't have to choose.
Right, you don't have to make choices. You just watch them all.
I forget how banged up Tampa Bay really is too, man.
Jacksonville,
the Packers are not fun to watch. They're not.
They're not. But Jacksonville and Detroit, they're very fun. They're like if you're a defensive guy, you're not
Trevor Lawrence
watching Detroit because Detroit's defense being so terrible is what makes their game so much fun to watch because it's always a shootout. Because
I actually highlighted a couple of throws Trevor Lawrence made in this game. So if you go to my Twitter at Landon3MR, I put the all 22 videos up of a couple of throws that Lawrence made in this game that were just absurd. They were absurd throws. Just absolutely fantastic. Like this is the guy that was the generational.
He looks as advertised.
Yeah, this was the generational number 1 overall pick that we were told about. And it's amazing what happens when you get a coach that knows what they're doing, that's not kicking special team players, that's not grabbing ass in bars after a loss. You get somebody that actually knows what they're doing on a football field. And that shit might work in college, but when you're around grown men, nah, that shit don't fly. So you have Doug Peterson, man. Like Doug Peterson, he's been an NFL quarterback for years. He was Brett Favre's backup for years. He's got the witness greatness. He's got a Super Bowl winning coach. People don't really realize. Like, I don't know if we just all forgot that he outcoached Bill Belichick in a Super Bowl. Like something that Sean McVay couldn't do. Which I'm not saying anything like Drew, but I'm just saying, like, people don't realize how great of a head coach Doug Peterson is because we saw it go sour with Carson Wentz. Well, now we've seen Carson Wentz go sour multiple years now. So was that really all on Doug Peterson? I hated the move at the time for the Eagles. I thought it was a bad decision for the Eagles. They should not have fired Doug Peterson. But maybe, it's worked out for both. It's worked out for the Eagles. It's worked out for the Jaguars now. I've always been a big Doug Peterson guy, even going back to his Green Bay days. I thought he was a fantastic football mind. Got to learn under Holmgren and all those guys out there. So, yeah, it's exciting to watch, and I think it's good. And even though they do play in the AFC South, I'm excited for the future of Jacksonville. I'm happy for Trevor Lawrence. I'm happy for the Jaguars franchise, and I hope they can keep this up. I really do, because it's fun to watch. As a fan of football, I'm a fan of football. I know it's kind of weird to say because I'm such a big Colts fan, but like I'm a fan of the game before I'm a fan of anything. And I'm a fan of great quarterback play before I'm a fan of anything. It seems I'm always going to be.
I'm taking a chance, man.
Yeah, I'm always going to be a
quarterback
apologist. So, yeah,
and I think they picked a great year to quote unquote throw money at players because that division is in shambles.
It's so wide open, man.
And like this is the year that they could win that division. I know we're 3 weeks in, but I mean, there's a very good.
Let's not forget too. So they're not absolved because this team got absolutely annihilated against Washington.
They lost by 7.
Well, no, but I'm saying like Washington really took it to them like pretty heavy.
They're not
gonna lose on the scoreboard, but like they. But the last 2 weeks, like if they find their stride, I'm still curious to see if this team can keep their foot on the gas because the reality is
you're gonna find out this week.
Yeah. So you're gonna find out this week just how real they are, and if they lose and the Colts win, then the Colts are right back in the driver's seat in that division. So this is not, I know how bad that division is, but this is not something that they can keep their foot off the gas. The unfortunate news is. They're going up against the team that me and Jared championed this offseason. Drew was a big fan of their moves as well. We love their draft. We love the moves they made. We've been big fans, all three of us, of Jalen Hurts on this show for multiple seasons now. This is the best team in the league right now.
Hands down.
Outside of Buffalo. So I think a fully healthy Buffalo team is the best team in football. But the reality is Buffalo's not healthy. So right now, the reality is the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in football through 3 weeks. This is going to be a good test for the Eagles because the pass rush in Jacksonville is real. The linebacking core in Jacksonville is real. This is the toughest, like as weird as this is to say, this is the toughest test this Eagles team has faced so far. And it's the Jaguars. The quarterback is real. The weapons are real. The offensive line is playing good. This is a measuring stick for both of these teams. This is it's so funny to think about, but this is a measuring stick game for both of these teams for me. And this is one of the games I'm highlighting this week to watch. I'm so excited to watch this game. So excited. Two of my favorite.
Baltimore and Buffalo. This is the game to circle. Outside of that one,
I'm high for this. So, anything you guys want to touch on about this, Matt and Drew? I know you've been a little quiet up here about this game.
I'm really excited about it, but I've been pretty quiet because I really haven't disagreed with anything that either of you guys have said. I'm ready to watch the Eagles some more. I've loved everything that I've seen from that team, and I love AJ Brown, the player. So getting to see him flourish in a new offense, Jalen Hurts, just getting to all I've done is just said, look, stop doubting Jalen Hurts. He's going to get better. Stop doubting Jalen Hurts. He's going to get better. And just that simple statement, Jalen Hurts has just continually, year after year, made me look so smart whenever I'm just saying the most minimal thing I can say. But Jalen Hurts continues to make me look smarter than I actually am because he continues to get better, which is, I don't know why it's still surprising to people. I'm not going to pretend like I watched him in high school, but if you go back to college, every year from college to pros, every single year in his career, he's just gotten better. So why people are surprised, I don't really know, but I'm ready to watch it. And the thing that I hope for this game is I hope that Jacksonville does keep it close because Philly in their last couple games, they've really just taken it to their opponents in the first half, and then they've just kind of coasted in the second half, protected a lead, played keep away. They hadn't really had to do much in the second half of the past couple weeks. So I would really like to see Jacksonville test this Eagles team up until like going into the second half, and it not be a coasting game. But the tricky thing is the Eagles defense is so damn good that they make it tough for the offense to not have to coast, because if the offense gives the defense a lead, through 3 weeks, the defense is protecting it, so the offense isn't having to press in the second half.
That's secondaries, man. Secondary.
That's why I have them currently as the best team in football, is because the one thing they have over Buffalo is the offensive line. I think the defenses can be comparable when fully healthy. I think both are like really great defenses, but that there's not even a comparison between Buffalo's offensive line and Philadelphia's.
And if you are curious about how Jordan Davis is playing, I retweeted a thread from a guy. So at Aiden Doc underscore is the Twitter handle that put this thread together. But it's a play from week 3 of all the Jordan Davis plays where he's just being Jordan Davis. It's some awesome shit. So if you're curious about how that guy's doing in his rookie year through 3 weeks, go ahead and look at that thread. And it's some fun stuff for sure.
I hope we get to see Nakobe Dean kind of follow suit. I believe I read that he only played special teams last week, which the reality is the defense doesn't necessarily need him right now. But, I know he was a guy that a lot of people were high on in the draft process, and then he slid a little bit and landed in a good spot here in Philly, but he hasn't really been able to produce much. So I not that he's like my favorite linebacker or anything like that, but I was a fan of his, and I'd like to see him do well. So I hope to see him get a little bit more involved. But that Devin Lloyd was always linebacker 1 in this class anyway. If you know, you know. So
yeah, if you know.
Another guy that's made us look pretty smart.
Yeah, had a lot of those guys this year. Which is good for both of us for sure. So if you are curious about the point spread, the Eagles are 6.5 point favorites. It is in Philadelphia at the Eagles' home. So money line is -278, favorites to win. So actually pretty heavy favorites. Over unders 48.5 in this game. Fellas, who you got?
The Eagles.
Yeah, I like the Jags. I like what they're doing, but I think this Eagles team is just too good.
Yeah, I'm going to make it a clean sweep. I'm going with the Eagles.
I praised Jacksonville really, really high in this segment, but I would take I think Philadelphia wins by more than a touchdown.
Like you praised Jacksonville. We all praised Jacksonville, but then you said Philly's the best team in the league. So I don't know how much.
Yeah, the Eagles are.
How much higher praise you can get than that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's definitely them or Buffalo, and I mean they're healthy and they have a better offensive line right now. So,
all right. Well, now let's bring it to our next game of the week, and that is the Cardinals at the Panthers. Panthers defense actually showed up a little bit this week. Kind of curious to see how that continues, but the offense continues to be rough. Christian McCaffrey back on the injury report with a thigh injury. He's on the injury report every week, but he still seems to be okay. Like, I don't know why they keep putting him on the injury report. It's kind of like Jonathan Taylor. He was on the injury report today for a toe injury and didn't practice, but they were like, look, come on. Like
Christian McCaffrey himself said, if I just go to the bathroom, I show up on the injury report.
Yeah, it's every week. It's every week. Like the guys.
How many years in a row was Brady on the injury report every week?
Every week Tom Brady.
I mean, the reality is like with the weird ass reporting process that the NFL requires. Like if they want to give a guy like just a Veterans Day rest, they have to list why they missed practice. Yep. So if they have some type of lingering issue going on that, like, even though it's not going to affect their game status,
I'll tell you this, I don't pay attention to injury reports until Friday. Friday is the day that's
the one that matters. And even then, it's tricky. DeAndre Swift screwed a bunch of people this week in fantasy, and that's the kind of stuff that drives me crazy. Is when these guys that shouldn't be playing are going to play, and they go out there for like 5-6 plays.
Yeah, that's what we said. That's what we said on yesterday's show. Is just give Swift the week or 2 weeks off. Like, just let him get why. They even said before the game, he's banged up. He's gonna have to play limited snaps. Just set him.
Get him, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think that's kind of where I saw they were trending this week. So he's.
I hope so, man. Get that man some rest. Let him get healed up. Jesus.
Yeah, that's rough, man. So yeah, the Cardinals, on the other hand, I really just don't know what to make of this Cardinals team. Like, other than the fact that they're just not good.
They're really bad.
That's pretty much what to make of them.
Yeah, I don't know. So really, as bad as the Panthers are in this game, so the Panthers are at home. They are 1.5 point favorites. So damn, basically just even. Panthers are minus 120 on the money line with a 43.5 over under. Really, the only takeaway I have through 3 weeks with the Cardinals is like, as much as we love Rondale Moore, like they're using Greg Dortch.
Greg Dortch is the takeaway from Arizona.
No, I'm saying like
Rondale Moore's been banged up too.
Yeah, but I'm saying is like so Greg Dortch is like basically like becoming the guy that we all want Rondale Moore to be. I love Rondale Moore. I'm hoping he eventually gets that shot whenever he gets fully back. But yeah, I mean like Greg Dortch has played good football. James Conner's banged up. The offensive line in Arizona, as we knew, is rough. The defensive line's not doing anything. I don't know what
the defense in
general.
I think I read something earlier. They give up like 8.2 yards per play right now.
That's insane. That's insane.
I'm pretty sure that's what I read.
You want another fun Arizona Cardinal stat?
I do. I'm sure you got a ton of them as a Rams fan.
Jalen Hurts is averaging either the same amount or more rushing attempts per game than Kyler Murray has rushing attempts on the season as a whole for 3 weeks. Kyler Murray, one of the most mobile, one of the biggest threats with his legs, has less rushing attempts on the entire season than Jalen Hurts is having per game through 3 weeks so far. Like this is
there's no reason Kyler Murray shouldn't be treated like the way Lamar Jackson is treated.
Welcome to the week 4
Cliff
segment of hey, what the fuck are we doing?
What are we doing?
we're back.
This is my favorite segment of the week.
I don't, and it's this is the two teams too, right? Like these are the two teams. It's
the ultimate. What are you doing, teams?
It's Cliff and it's Baker
Matt
Mayfield. I'm not even. I did enough to Matt Rule last week. This week
Baker's terrible, man. He's just not good.
This guy fucking stinks.
He's not good.
Like I really hope DJ Moore's dad is cooking up like a fire mixtape of missed opportunities to get him out of Carolina.
Think he's getting pointers from Odell today?
Like I hope so. I hope
Odell's about to drop an Odell video.
I hope so because I feel bad for DJ Moore, and we finally found somebody that's
as a DJ Moore owner. I also feel bad for DJ.
We finally found somebody that's capable of ruining Christian McCaffrey. I didn't know this was possible. This was the final nail in the coffin. Now I'm really annoyed. I'm pissed. I'm irritated. I feel like Stephen A. Smith right now. I've been bamboozled, led astray. Like, Jesus, man, these two teams stink.
Yeah. As excited as we are for the Jaguars-Eagles game, we're equally not excited.
I can promise you
for this game.
I'll go back and watch some just for like research purposes. Like on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll go back and watch some of this. I won't spend a single fucking second of my Sunday watching this game. I can promise you that.
Unless it's on Red Zone, that's probably
if it comes up on Red Zone, I'm gonna switch my shit off and go.
If it comes up on Red Zone, I'll be shocked because
I'll just go.
Yeah, if it's even on Red Zone, we'll see.
They might get like a brief moment whenever they're on like a 4-box or something where they just so happen to be in the Red Zone.
When you're asking yourself look, this is a 3:00 game, I guess. When you're asking yourself at like 5:30, was Arizona and Carolina canceled because I haven't seen it come across the TV yet? That's where, or is it blacked out or something? Like,
right?
These offenses suck, man. They're terrible. Baker Mayfield is trash. I'm done. Like, people sticking up for Baker Mayfield. They need to roll Sam Darnold out there and let him just do his thing because at least he gets McCaffrey going.
Darnold might be worse.
Yeah, they both suck.
That's the sad part. Is like as bad as Baker Mayfield's been, Sam Darnold might be worse.
Yeah,
I don't know how, man.
They're all bad.
There's a way. There's a way.
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield is allergic to good wide receivers. Like he's allergic to them.
Yeah,
he'll throw to Robbie Anderson. He'll throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones and all these guys. Like, but when he has a quote unquote an elite wide receiver. He don't know what to do with them.
DJ Moore, OBJ, who needs him? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm over.
Maybe he just likes to be dangerous.
Yeah, and well,
Mhm.
I'm over Baker. I tried to stick up for him for a little bit, like his not not this past year in Cleveland, but the year before that. I tried to stick up for him. Um, and then I kind of gave him a little bit of shit last year, but I was like, well, hey, he did play hurt a lot, and he had really had no business playing hurt. Um, and so, I had a little bit of hope for him this year. The coaching staff isn't great, but you've got Christian McCaffrey, you got DJ Moore, you've got Robbie Anderson. The pass catchers could be worse, but I'm not so sure the quarterback could. So I've moved on. Baker Mayfield sucks, but I will say Carolina's defense. I think they're legit. They have legit pieces.
Yeah.
The defense as a whole, there's still a couple of places that they
Yeah.
could improve. But
Gross Matos is good. I love Brian Burns. I've always been a big Brian Burns guy.
I think the Panthers have a better defense than the Cardinals. But
Secondary, I like. I think we were big fans.
big JC Horn guys over here.
Yeah. So we'll see how this turns out. But I don't want to spend any more time on this game. So
No.
let's just go ahead.
No.
Let's get our picks in. I'm going to take the Panthers in this one.
I'll take the Cardinals.
I'm going to take the Cardinals as well. I think I think even Cliff can't fuck this one up.
Oh.
That was
No!
really stupid to say.
I
I'll take
don't
the tie.
I already
You want to be on the internet saying that.
I already regret that one, but it's
So
out there on the internet now.
Yeah. So speaking of bad teams that like to feel dangerous, we have the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. Man, one of the most shocking things of the season is
We
how
should be hyped for this game.
yeah. We should be paid for this game?
No, we should be hyped.
I said we should be paid for this game, and I'm like, yes, they should pay me to watch this game.
If this was week 1, we'd be like,
It's
oh man,
not
we're getting
that
the Raiders and the
bad.
Broncos in week
Oh,
1.
this was week 1. I would say like, oh, we're getting the Broncos in a fucking child's match against the Raiders. Like the Raiders are awful.
The Broncos are not good either on offense, man.
Broncos win despite themselves somehow. The Raiders are just not good.
Broncos win because of their defense, which is not something I
Yes.
thought a Russell Wilson-led Broncos
Russell
team I would be
Wilson's
saying. But
Russell Wilson's like bad, man. I know he's not getting really much help from his coach, like Nathaniel Hackett's. Oof. The fact that we're 3 games in and they already had to hire a coach to help make him decisions.
so I agree with that, but I also appreciate it. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's willing to change. Yeah.
At least recognize your weaknesses, try to do something about it rather than just, letting your pride take over, but still not a great sign.
Not a great look through 3 weeks, but I mean, the offensive line has not been good at all. I thought that would be a lot better than what they would be.
I gotta throw one thing in real quick.
Come on.
This is the most like Pete Carroll thing ever too. They run Russell Wilson out of Seattle, and now they're letting oh god, who's their quarterback? I can't even freaking
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith threw the ball almost 50 times on Sunday.
Oh, and they also used the picks they got from Russell Wilson to get a really good tackle in Charles Cross, and also the other bookend tackle they got as well on the other side. Their offensive line is really good in Seattle, which I think is hilarious also. After years of but I will say this. Russell Wilson, and like I saw it a bunch too the other day. Russell Wilson runs himself into so much pressure. I saw him the other day, like leave a clean pocket. I mean, a perfectly clean pocket.
He did it in Seattle too. It just wasn't as magnified because the offensive line was bad. So it was easy.
He's also been booed 3 weeks in a row, and they played 2 home games.
Yeah,
that's a rough stat.
Yeah, it's
been bad. It's been really bad offense for Denver Broncos.
Really bad off for both of these teams too. Not even just to like change subject on the Broncos, but even the Raiders. Josh McDaniels, once again, as we knew,
man, couldn't have happened to a better guy.
I literally tweeted that out the other day. I was like,
did you?
Yeah, that was a tweet. I shared it. It was like the Raiders are 0-3, like for the first time, like something like that. And I was just like, could not happen to a better guy. Josh McDaniels, the snake himself. So that's one of the best things, even though like me and Jared, we both agree, like maybe Frank Reich's not the guy. He's not a great coach, but
at least you didn't end up with Josh.
We didn't get Josh McDaniels. So Yeah, it's rough. Their offensive line is terrible. For whatever reason,
We
Derek
knew that
Carr.
going into the
Who could
season.
have seen that one coming?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's crazy to think about. But and then on top of that, man, like Derek Carr, for whatever reason, it's like he's actively trying not to throw the ball to Devontae Adams to prove a point to himself or not. I know I'm probably
Why
gonna,
should he? He's got the GOAT. He's got Mac Hollins.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, I know I'm
easy.
probably gonna get blocked on Twitter for saying that. From both the Carr brothers. They're big Twitter blockers if you have any sort of criticism. But
I didn't
yeah,
know that.
oh yeah, they block everybody. But yeah, man, like it's been rough for Derek Carr. Like he's not looking good. Like I know the biggest criticisms for him. I think last year was a fantastic year for Derek Carr. I thought we're moving in the right path here. It seems like he's taking a step back, and I don't know if that's due to the offensive line, due to the coaching. I know he's probably throwing the ball where he's being coached to throw the ball, just knowing him. But his biggest knock has always been his not inability, but I guess willingness to push the ball down the field. He does not like to push the ball down the field. He's very check down heavy, takes the safe throws. And so far, that's really holding this offense back because he's had a lot of, Devontae Adams is open deep. Darren Waller is running through the seams open, and then he'll throw it,
Right.
to Josh Jacobs, or he'll check it down. Mac Hollins, though, is for whatever reason, like Mac Hollins is like one of the highest target percentages of any wide receiver through 3 weeks.
I still think the biggest misstep, and I said this in the offseason too, and I feel bad because I can't remember the guy's name now, but the interim head coach they had last year,
Yeah, I was about to make that
I still
point.
think it was a mistake letting him go.
Agreed.
Like,
I agree.
with all of the adversity that team had to overcome last year, and for them to even be a playoff team last year with a less talented roster than they have this year,
Yeah.
I think that points to coaching and leadership. And everything that I've read and listened to and watched about their interim head coach last year was just he oozes
It was
leadership.
Rich Bisciasci.
I knew his name was one that I would butcher if I could even remember.
I'm not afraid to butcher names. That's what I do. So.
The problem with the Raiders is it's the Josh McDaniels like style offense he's wanting to run because I feel like he does have all control of the team as far as offense goes, especially.
Oh yeah.
And then the offensive line. And Derek Carr's played bad.
Hey,
not only that, let's
plot
not
twist. Hang on,
yeah.
plot twist. Josh McDaniels was a system offensive coordinator, and he doesn't have Tom Brady anymore. So
He's playing the same style too.
Who knew that all the success with Tom Brady as your quarterback wasn't going to translate whenever you no longer had Tom Brady? Nobody also could have seen that one coming.
Well, so here's the thing, though.
Bill Belichick looks pretty good right now too.
Well, so here's the thing with this.
If good is bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So here's the thing with this too, is though, as bad as the offense been, it might work if, like in New England, they had a top 10 defense.
Yeah, their defense also sucks.
Defense is really bad.
Again,
I don't know.
Who could have seen that one coming?
I don't know what's going on with their pass. I know they let Ngakoue go and they made the move for Chandler. Chandler Jones has been no-showed for 3
Max Crosby has still been good.
Max Crosby's been fine, but he's getting no help anywhere else.
None.
Chandler Jones, that's the concerning thing. That was the big money guy they brought in that was supposed to be the thing that took that pass rush over the edge, over the hump. That hadn't been the case so far through 3 weeks.
No, he's been no-showed. Secondary's not looking good either, as we kind of figured that would be a uphill battle. But man, I think just overall this was a bad football team, and I for one knew it would be a bad football team. I think we all three picked.
We all picked them last. Finished last. Yep.
Yeah. So I think we all kind of knew the direction this was headed. Although some people might pick them to finish last necessarily because all the other 3 teams were better. I picked them to finish last because I knew they were not going to be a good football team. But on the other side, man, it's still not a good football team. The the Broncos, man, like they've got to get this figured out. And some of this just might be new head coach, new quarterback.
I think that's
a lot of
things.
I truly do.
Russell still has flashes of being Russell. Every other,
he will get comfortable. This offense will be better.
But it's weird because it seems like he's trying to be pocket passer, like just a strict pocket passing guy, and he's only using his legs whenever the pressure, breaks down. But that's not Russell Wilson's game. You have to get him on the move, throwing the ball, using the threat of his movement. And granted, he can't move like he did, 5 years ago. The guy's 33. He's getting older. That stuff's going to slow down. And I think that's part of his issue too. By the way, is he's taking a lot more sacks because he's still trying to escape these guys. I think he's clearly lost a step to me. Running the football. So these guys are catching him, whereas I think a few years back they probably wouldn't catch him. And that's making it a little
Subway sandwiches.
Yeah.
I loved watching that ad. He's truly bought in now. That was not an accident. He is aware of his internet presence and he's fully bought in. And I appreciate it so much.
Which I love it. That's what I think is funny too. Speaking of doing that, is that's what I think is funny about the Aaron Rodgers thing, because Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show. And he's doing now this Aaron Rodgers book, book of the month or whatever. His first book, this is the second one. His second book was 1984 by George Orwell, which is the most Aaron Rodgers. And everybody on the internet was going crazy. They're like, "Oh, of course Aaron Rodgers would choose this book." And all I could think of was just man, he's fully bought into this troll. He's just everybody thinks he's being completely serious, and I don't know how, because this is such a great troll job by Aaron Rodgers.
There is some stuff that I like. Some stuff he said over the past year.
It's so fun. The whole Ashwara stuff, he's got everybody just so wound up, and it's hilarious because I guess too, because I'm kind of similar, not necessarily in what he's doing, but I'm similar to some of the stuff that I do. So whenever he does something and I see that look that he gives while he's saying it, and he's trying to come off serious, that he's actually believes, these crystals and Ashwara and the whole the liberal meltdown snowflakes and stuff. And he's just playing people, and it's the funniest thing to watch Twitter just get in such a they go bananas over anything Aaron Rodgers does. And I know he's sitting back on his phone and he's probably just laughing his ass off. And it's hilarious. So yeah,
he showed your boy Alan Lazard some love today.
Yeah, he's developing those young, talented wide receivers he has out there in Green Bay.
Did he say it?
He's developing the young receivers. He does the dirty work. He hit all the fucking.
Let's go.
First guy in, last guy out. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He hit all of it. Oh yeah. For sure.
He's just a mouthpiece for
telling us everything we didn't. Telling us everything we didn't know about.
All I'm saying is
14 points.
Yep. Hey.
Got the job done though.
Did they win?
Yeah.
Got the job done.
Yeah, you got to win dirty sometimes, man. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. You can't put up 50 every week.
Yeah,
they haven't put up 50 in a long time.
I don't know if they're going to be putting up that many points in a long time, but
the way that team's going, I wouldn't count on it. But
I think for this game though, the big difference for me, you got two offenses that you don't know what the hell to make out of, but we got one defense that is very, very clearly better than the rest, or better than the other one, and one that just sucks. The Broncos defense is legit. Patrick Surtain is on his way to stardom. He's going to be one of the best corners in this league for a long time. Another guy that has made me look pretty smart through 3 weeks, because whenever we were talking, in our divisional previews, you had asked us, who's your guy for in this division, thing like that. The guy I highlighted was Patrick Surtain, and through 3 weeks he's made me look a lot smarter than I actually am. So I appreciate him for that. But just overall, the defense, the Broncos defense has been playing incredible. And so I think that's the difference maker. If the Broncos offense continues to struggle somewhat, I think the defense can continue to keep them in games until the offense gets it figured out. I think that's what makes this team still so dangerous, is that is that they have a defense good enough to keep things together while the offense figures it out. Now, the whole deal is, if the offense never figures it out, it's not going to matter. But if Russ and Hackett figure it out, Jerry Jeudy.
They might make the playoffs. Yeah, I mean they might make the playoffs, man. Just on like
if they win this game and then Kansas City turns around and loses to Tampa, I'm pretty sure the Broncos are in first place in this division.
That's what I'm saying. So they might win this just based on how bad the division is.
Like ugly as it's been for the Broncos.
Yeah, the Chargers have been they're in shambles right now. The Raiders
they're just decimated with injuries,
which is something we will get to here.
Let's talk about all these teams in just a minute.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's pick this game here.
I'm taking Mr. Unlimited. I'm gonna go with Denver.
Hey, look, baby. I'm riding with it too. We care a lot, right?
We do. We care a lot over here.
We care a lot.
I need a quarterback that cares a lot. Yeah, so I'm gonna take Russ.
Yeah, I'm taking Russell Wilson.
I'll take the Broncos.
All right, clean sweep. Josh McDaniels 0-4. Love it.
And just another side note real quick before we move on. I think there's only been one team since the year 2000 to make the playoffs after an 0-3 start. You talk about starting the year 0-4, you can pretty much bury Vegas at that point. So this is literally season on the line for Vegas.
And he already, apparently from reports, already had a closed door meeting with the owner after last week. So
this would be their second loss in that division too.
Yeah, this is the season is
it's
already.
Did Jared say this the other day? Was it you that said it? And you said Bill Belichick. That's why he didn't hire an offensive coordinator because he knew Josh McDaniels would be fired mid-season.
It wasn't me, but that's a great quote.
I can't remember who I was talking to that said that to me. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said that's why Belichick didn't hire an offensive coordinator because he knew he'd have Josh McDaniels back by mid-season.
Bill's
that's a good one.
Bill's got a cot out in the basement right now, just waiting.
Whoever did say that, that's pretty funny because that's probably it's looking like there's a decent chance that might be spot on.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and you were the person that said that to me, just text me and let me know it was you, so I give you proper credit for the quote.
Yeah, because that's fantastic.
I would love to take credit for that, but it wasn't me, unfortunately.
Great. Moving on to the next game.
Speaking of Belichick.
Speaking of, also too, I had to get my Culver's drink here for my dinner tonight. Talk about the Green Bay Packers.
Cheese.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
I like it.
Wisconsin.
Wow. That was great. That was I didn't mean to just randomly scream cheese, but that was such an underrated.
That's product placement. We need sponsorship.
What
the hell I would love to be sponsored by Culver's, by the way.
Culver's. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, let's get on this.
Come on, man.
You've made the list. All right, guys. So we got the Wisconsin Green Bay Packers hosting the New England Patriots. If you
didn't think Bucks versus Packers could get any uglier, I present you.
wait till you get Axel Hoyer quarterbacking the Patriots.
Oh
man! Did you know Brian Hoyer's first name is Axel?
I didn't. I was so lost whenever you just said that.
Brian Hoyer's first name. So Brian is.
Why the fuck does he go by Brian if he's got a name like Axel?
Axel
that's so much cooler.
That's like, what is that like?
He might have been able to hold on to a starting job a little longer if his first name was Axel. Nobody fucking cares if your quarterback's name is Brian.
You've got Johnny Utah. You have John Moxon. You got Axel Hoyer. These are ultimate quarterback names here.
Get honorable mention Gardner Minshew.
Minshew.
I love that name, and the persona around the name helps.
Vinny Testaverde too. Like that's such a quarterback name. Vinny Testaverde. I love that.
Sounds like a rabbi.
And then what? Vinny
Testaverde. Come get a brisk and all that good stuff.
That's an Italian guy.
That was my that was like a Super Mario video.
Yeah,
he's Italian. Yeah.
What don't you think Jewish people sound like?
Vinny Testaverde is apparently the first ever rabbi Italian mobster.
He's a Jewish Italian guy.
They plays quarterback.
God damn.
Those are fantastic. Oh man, dude, I love that.
Lord.
That's good.
Okay.
Who
Good night. That was it.
was the replacement? Who was the replacement?
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, no, I was thinking, what was his name? Yeah, I know it was Keanu Reeves. What was his name?
Johnny Utah.
No, Johnny Utah was Point Break.
Hang on.
Oh, yeah, it's
hang
Point
on.
Break.
Let me think.
That was also.
That was also Keanu Reeves.
It was also Keanu Reeves.
That guy's in every fucking thing.
Yeah, fantastic fake
Whoa.
quarterback, Keanu Reeves. Oh man, why can I not
Keanu
think
Reeves
of...
is a better quarterback than like half the people playing quarterback in the NFL right now so far this year.
True.
So a good buddy of ours, he used to, anytime he'd come over, he'd bring his USB like for the computer or whatever, and he named it Quentin Jammer for some reason. I always thought that was the funniest thing ever because he's like, I gotta throw, yeah. He's like, I gotta throw the Quentin Jammer into the laptop real quick.
Shane Falco.
Yes.
Nice.
Johnny Utah, Shane Falco, John Moxon.
Whole lot of legends.
Lance Harbor.
Billy Bob.
Axel Hoyer.
Thornton.
Billy Bob.
Billy Bob. Too fat. Too slow.
I give it a 10. Hold a fucking 10.
He said, who gives a fly fuck about Bud Clover's 26th statement of time? I do.
This further proves my point about the Green Bay Packers offense, and this team is so boring that we have to resort to Billy Bob for 20 minutes.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with resorting to Billy. I'd do a whole hour show on Billy Bob.
Yeah.
We can go all day on Billy Bob. Miss Davis, would you go to prom with me?
The guy's a legend. Speaking of legends, though,
Big fan of Miss Davis.
Romeo Doubs looks like he might be on his way to legend status, man.
He looks like the best receiver on that team.
He looked good. He certainly he's no Alan Lazard, but he looked good though. He does
different things. Alan Lazard does the little things. He does the little things. He catches the football.
Romeo Doubs actually plays receiver.
He catches the football. He does. They play different roles at wide receiver.
Oh my god, he does different.
Both are effective. Both are effective at wide receivers.
They are. They are.
One catches the football, one doesn't.
Romeo Doubs gave me hope that the week 10 Green Bay Packers receiver core might not be, the worst in the league, like the week 3 Green Bay Packers receiving core was looking like it would be. I truly do. Like, I want to make it clear. Whenever I said last week they have the worst receiving core in the league, that's
worse than Arizona.
I'm not talking about projections. I'm talking about like right now with what they're putting on the field. Whenever you're wide receiver one, his best trait is that guy sure can block. Like your wide receiver core is in bad shape. But Romeo Doubs, he looked good, man.
He does different things.
He does different things. He does the dirty way. Look out! Look, he ain't gonna.
All I'm saying is
he ain't gonna beat Alan Lazard into the
I'm
meetings.
not on the same wavelength as you jokers, but I'm on the same wavelength as a Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm okay with that. All right. I'm okay with that. That means I'm seeing something. Right.
Oh my god!
I mean, I don't. With all the hallucinogens that Aaron Rodgers is taking, I don't really know what he's seeing.
You don't know what I'm on. You don't know what I'm on.
You don't know me. You don't know my mama's son.
He's the real Lizard King, is Aaron Rodgers.
Lazard King.
Out there
no wonder Sammy Watkins wanted to go to Green Bay. It all makes so much sense. Yeah. They're on their own planet out there, man.
This segment has went off the rails.
Well, I would rather talk about this than fucking talk about the Patriots offense. Jesus, man. Terrible. It was already bad with Mac Jones. Now we got Axel Hoyer, which that might be an upgrade. I don't know, because Axel's a lot cooler than Mac Jones and whatever the fuck that touchdown dance that he did last week.
They don't my boy now, all right.
He led the league in turnovers before his injury too, by the way.
Yeah, he had his best game of the year, which was 3 interceptions. I'm here to hate on Mac Jones. It's just it is what it is. Whenever you make a career out of hating on the Patriots, eventually you're going to be right. And here we are. But I think the Packers are about to beat the shit out of New England. Their defense is better. They obviously have a better quarterback. And
Bakhtiari's back.
my statement last week might have been incorrect because I think the Packers playmakers are actually better than the Patriots playmakers. So
I agree.
They might not have the worst. They might have the second worst. So
Arizona's right there with them too right now.
And then even in the running back room, you're like, oh yeah, they got Ramondre Stevenson and they got Damian Harris. Well, the Packers got Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. So even in the area where New England is succeeding, they're still not better than Green Bay. I don't think there's any aspect other than the head coach. I like to troll about Belichick, but he's incredible. And Matt LaFleur is certainly not a better head coach than him. Outside of that, I don't think there's any area where New England has an advantage over Green Bay in this game. So this one's easy for me.
Yeah, it's easy for me too. Plus, I'm afraid if I pick the Packers to beat the Patriots, I'll be disowned from my mother. So, or if I pick the Patriots to beat the Packers, my bad. Reset. All right, Green Bay Packers, Jared.
Oh yeah, the Packers. They do different things. And
the Patriots.
They find ways to win games. They do different things.
They do. Y'all are haters, man.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
We got like Italian Jewish rabbis, like Jared's like going. This is off the rails, man. That's fantastic, man.
Oh, right. That's so good.
Yeah, so getting on to our next game here. We do have the Sunday night football game. Once again, the primetime shit Buccaneers offense.
I think they're getting Mike Evans back, and they might be getting Julio back for a couple snaps until he gets hurt.
A couple snaps. I'll tell you, what did I say before the season? Hamstrings don't get better the older you get. I know this. Okay,
I know. I want a Julio Jones revenge.
Me and Julio are like the same age. All right, hamstrings don't get better.
They got Cole Beasley now.
So their unvaccination rate just went up for
Florida's,
sure.
Florida's that's a fantastic state for him.
Yeah. Yeah, the next fucking article that's titled "Florida Man Does Some Crazy Shit" is going to be Cole Beasley on there.
Cole Beasley catches a touchdown.
Cole Beasley catches a touchdown and bites his leg.
That's crazy shit for this Buccaneers offense right now. I want to go back to what Jared said last week, which kind of like it really reared its head once again. Tom Brady looks like he just does not want to be playing football. He really he looks like he just does not want to be out there on the field. Every time I see it looks like my dog that for whatever my dogs had one of the best lives. Like he lies around, he gets fed, he's taken care of, he gets goes to the vet whenever he's sick. We live literally right next door to it. He has a great life. Tom Brady has a great life. He's Super Bowl champions. But then you look at him in the press conference, and then I look at my dog here, and he's looking, he looks like he's just been beat. Like he's just, staring up at me. He's just, just sad. And every time I look at Tom Brady, that's what I see. He just looks sad. And I'm sure Holmes not, I don't know. I don't want to speculate on what's going on in his personal life because I don't give a shit. I mean, that's not what we're here for. We're here about the football. Right now, he just does not look like a quarterback that is there. Mentally, he's just not there. And
he looks like a quarterback that spent all week throwing to Russell Gage and and a bunch of backups. Playing in green, we've clowned on a bunch of teams, over the last few weeks. One thing we haven't clowned on,
rightfully so.
One thing we have not clowned on is the Packers defense. And whenever you've got the Packers defense, whenever your top three pass catching options are missing, I wouldn't look very happy if I was Brady out there either. But they get Mike Evans back. They get Julio back for whatever extent that they get Julio back for. They're not going to get Chris Godwin back. But this team is getting healthier, and I am not the least bit concerned about Tom Brady or the Buccaneers. I'm not. The defense looks great, still looks great, even after dropping that game last week, holding Rodgers to 14 points. Whenever the Tampa Bay's offense was doing that defense no favors, and they were still just consistently getting stops. I'm not concerned about the defense. The offense will continue to get healthier. And Tom Brady, look, man, if there's like the one thing I will say about Tom is looking like he doesn't care. Go back and watch that New Orleans game and watch.
No, I'm not saying he doesn't look like he doesn't care.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying I've seen that out there on the internet. That
he just looks like he's been beaten down.
Like he looks. I've seen people say he looks checked out and things like that. That dude is out there getting fucking pissed on the field, and it's only a matter of time.
He's little temper tantrums.
He is. He's always been good at that. Like I'd love to know the number on how many tablets he's broken in his career. And
I know I can think of at least 4 off the top of my head.
Yeah, and then they haven't even used tablets.
Can you imagine if Lamar Jackson broke tablets?
Oh Jesus, man!
Jalen Hurts broke tablets.
Oh, they're head cases. Get them out of the NFL. There's no place for that in our league.
Luckily, Tom Brady does a great leadership.
Yeah. Look at the fire and desire.
The fire.
Yelling at his teammates, yelling at his offensive line.
You got Mike Evans out there fighting people and shit, getting suspended.
He's a great leader.
Which he is. That is a factual statement, but the double standard is annoying. Yes. But no, I'm not. I'm not the least concerned about Tampa. I'm not.
Their defense is awesome.
It is, and these week 3 these games do matter. Don't get me wrong.
And they better enjoy it while they can, because there's a very good shot Raheem Morris is probably a head coach in the near future.
You talking about Todd Bowles?
Or Todd Bowles, yeah.
He already is a head coach, right? Isn't he their head coach right now?
Yeah, Todd Bowles is their head coach.
Is it Todd Bowles?
Yeah,
they gave it to Bowles over Byron Leftwich.
Yeah.
No, who's their defensive coordinator?
Todd Bowles. Raheem Morris is the Rams defensive coordinator.
That's
but yeah, Todd Bowles was Todd Bowles is the mind behind this defense. Yeah. Who is their head coach right now? But I mean,
he got done dirty with the Jets too, by the way.
Bruce Arians has still been on the sidelines, and that's apparently being addressed and stuff too. But
I love Bruce. I love B.
Yeah, that dude just don't give a fuck. But no, but like I don't. I'm really not concerned about Tampa, and I just like they're in a division that's very winnable, even if they drop some games. And I just like, not that Tom isn't getting up for these games, because I believe he is, but it's just like this deep into his career with how much he's accomplished. It's like, who gives a shit if we lose in week 4? You know,
I think to further prove a point, though, I think him and Aaron Rodgers are very similar on that. They're not playing for regular season games anymore. Yeah,
Rodgers. I would agree.
I think that's why a lot of people are seeing that they look like they're checked out. That and their offense is decimated. Not necessarily the Packers' offense is the Packers' offense. What they're rolling out there right now is what they would roll into the playoffs right now.
Yeah, too. Right. But the Bucs are beat up.
The Bucs are decimated with injuries. Yeah. Offensive line too. So it's not just the skill players. Leonard Fournette's not looked good since week 1. And a lot of that has contributed to the offensive line. And hell, he touched a ball week 2, like over 20 something. It was like 25 touches.
Yeah, he's still very involved.
Yeah. So I'm with you, man. I think when they're healthy, they'll easily win that division. And they'll probably, I think they can make a push in the playoffs. I don't know if they're deep enough. If they don't start getting people back, I don't know what Godwin's injury is. Like I know, he tried to go week 1, re-aggravated it. That might be a ongoing thing for the season too. But
yeah, it probably will be something that they'll have to monitor all year.
I think they really miss Gronk. I think that's another thing too. Like
they won't have to miss him for long.
I think he comes back too.
Gronk's gonna show up eventually. I think he will. But Godwin did practice today. So for what it's worth, I don't know what that means. It's a hamstring injury. He hasn't practiced for the last couple weeks since he had this hamstring injury in week 1. This is his first practice since post week 1. So This team's getting healthier, man, and they're going to be fine. It's still Tom Brady, and
Well, let's go to the other
defense is
side of the
still
ball here.
legit.
So we haven't talked at all about the Chiefs, and that's a team I really want to talk about. So the Kansas City Chiefs, like I said, I know we talked about this last episode. So this was probably the first week. I think there were some shades of it in the Chargers game that I thought they really missed Tyreek Hill this last week. That's kind of where it's kind of reared its head a little bit. So the good news for them is they bounced back better than almost any team. Like they had a lot of miscues in this game, missed field goals, punt, special team stuff that just didn't go their way. I think that stuff gets cleaned up. I think they're going to be just fine. This is a game that I'm actually really excited for. It's actually a Super Bowl rematch from a couple years ago. So I want to see how they get some of these, because the wide receivers, like outside of Travis Kelce, like they've really kind of been underwhelming. Like there hasn't really been, Juju hasn't flashed, outside of just like the week 1 game. Sky Moore is not getting involved. MVS, of course, like we knew, he's MVS. Like it's not going to get better if you can't produce with Aaron Rodgers. It's not going to get better. And then on top of that, I mean, I am worried about this receiving core. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not good. He's been outsnapped by Jerick McKinnon every week of the season. Like that train's going to fall off eventually. I'm curious to see, because the Colts defensive line absolutely whooped this offensive line. I know this offensive line is supposed to be a strength. They're supposed to be good. It's not going to get any easier against this Tampa Bay front. This defense is, I don't know if it's necessarily like, I mean, like the Bucs defense is like better than the Colts defense right now. But I don't think there's a huge gap between them. So I'm curious to see how this Tampa Bay defense handles, if they handle the Chiefs the same way that the Colts did, because I'm just curious to see how the Chiefs bounce back in this and how Andy Reid possibly gets some of these wide receivers more, because I do think Scott Moore needs more touches. He provides an element that nobody else on that offense can. And McCall Hardman has been a no-show. Like I don't know. He's banged up and possibly hurt as well. I'm a little worried about not Patrick Mahomes, not Travis Kelce, but the other pieces around them. They need to pick up some of the slack here.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's kind of what I thought it was going to be before the season started. I just don't think Juju Smith-Schuster is a wide receiver 1, and I think he got a lot of love in the offseason, and I think he's a good player. But Kelsey's a wide receiver 1 at the end of the day. I think Kansas City's fine. I do. I think outside of I'm happy the Colts won, but outside of a penalty and some special teams blunders, man, like realistically they could be 3-0.
Kansas City had a chance to win that game at the end.
Same thing with Tampa Bay.
They had numerous chances throughout the game. I mean, it's 48 minutes of play. One play doesn't determine the entire. You had 46 other minutes outside of that 2-minute drill at the end of the game to win that game. And even after that penalty occurred, you still. I mean, it only put the Colts at midfield. It gave them a first down, but it put them. I mean, it's not like it put them in the red zone or anything. So, I mean, you still had a chance to stop that game. They still had a chance to win that game. They didn't get it done. And there were a lot of miscues. That's stuff that they'll address. That's stuff that they'll clean up. I'm not worried about the Chiefs at all. Well, more specifically, like I said, I'm not worried about Patrick Mahomes. I'm not worried about Travis Kelce. But some of the others, they need to start utilizing some of these pieces in a different way than what they are. And it's just
they got Andy Reid, and he'll figure
it out. Yeah.
And
exactly.
That's the one thing they do have. I will say I feel like this is a game that Kansas City definitely needs to win more than even Tampa Bay does, because the division, the AFC West, has kind of been underachieving a little bit. But at the end of the day, the Broncos are 2-1, and the Chiefs are 2-1. So there's nobody.
Nobody in the NFC South is
right. That I mean, they're pretty much a lock to win that division. So I think the Chiefs come out, man. I think Mahomes is looking for a victory over Brady. He definitely needs one. So that's kind of my take on it. I think Kansas City will be fine.
Yeah, I agree. So all right, so let's go. Let's pick this game here. Who you guys got?
Go ahead, Jared.
I want to know what Chris Jones said last week, but I got the Chiefs winning.
Whatever he said, I'm glad he said it.
I'm not worried about the Chiefs either, but I'm also not going to bet against a pissed off Tom Brady with weapons getting healthier at home coming off a loss. So I'm going to take the Bucs on this one.
I actually kind of agree. I think for whatever reason, Tom Brady has seemed to either, I don't know if it's luck, but he does have Patrick Mahomes' number for whatever reason.
He does.
They don't play 1-on-1, but every time they play, some kind of fluky thing happens to give Brady the edge. So that being said, yeah, I'm going to take the Buccaneers in this.
One more game to go.
One more game to go. All right, Drew.
Oh,
you're up. I know you're a little bit quiet in that segment because I'm sure you were saving. You were saving yourself for this one. Your favorite game of the year. This is one of your favorite games, I know, of the season, and it is prime time at the 49ers. Your Los Angeles Rams. Take us through your emotions right now.
I hate playing the 49ers in prime time. I hate it so much. If this was a playoff game, I'd be less concerned because, but regular season, they're a different animal. So I'm a little bit more concerned playing these guys in the regular season on prime time in San Francisco. Jimmy Garoppolo looked like one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL last week, so naturally he's going to come out and
cornstar Jimmy.
Yeah, he's going to come out and probably throw for 303. Deebo Samuel is going to run wild like he typically does. I'm nervous about this game, man. I am just following the trends of the last few years for regular season matchups against the 49ers. For whatever reason in the regular season, they have had the Rams number. But I watched the primetime game the Niners played in last week against the Broncos team that we just spent a lot of time talking very bad about, and they lost the game to that Broncos team. So if we can get that same Jimmy Garoppolo this week, I feel pretty good about my chances because that guy, I don't know why everybody wants him to be a thing so bad. I don't know why we're still doing this. Like, oh, Jimmy G's back. Oh, the 49ers are back. Oh, here we go. The 49ers are contenders again. I don't know why we're still doing this. I don't know what else we need to see, but people, come on, the guy's not that fucking good. But he does typically elevate his game against the Rams. So there is a potential for a 1 week bounce back here. But God, please just bury this team. Please. Like, I hate the 49ers more than any team in the NFL. More than I hate Bill Belichick, I hate the San Francisco 49ers, man. So the Rams Niners games are ones that I really struggle to enjoy watching if they're close games. If the Rams are
they're always close games.
They always are, man, and it sucks. So it's so hard to enjoy watching these because I just stress out for no reason. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if we see them in the playoffs, we've already seen how that plays out. But I hate these regular season games, man. So I hope the Rams come out and just beat the ever living shit out of these guys. And I need people on the internet to stop trying to make Jimmy Garoppolo a thing. It's not gonna happen. Like, I feel like Nick Saban right now. Like, it's not gonna happen. So quit asking. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what the obsession with Jimmy G is, but
Have you seen the way he looks, Drew?
Yeah.
Dude.
He is a good looking dude. He's a very handsome guy for sure.
They are just like literally just.
Oh no, I can get Emily to watch
football
on the TV. I can always get her to tune in. We'll be watching Monday Night Football this week as a family.
You got Sean McVay on the sideline too, man.
I don't know if he knows about Sean McVay.
I call him Sean McVay.
Sean McVay. I like it.
That's Bay out there on the sidelines, but yeah.
How Shanahan not too bad looking either.
No, this might be the most attractive.
This might be the best looking dude matchup of the week. There's a new segment we're gonna start putting out, right? Best looking guys of the week.
That's right. Yeah.
Maybe that's what Chris Jones said.
Maybe that is what Chris Jones said.
You know, you're fucking handsome.
Yeah, you're a good looking guy, Matty Ice. The referee's like, he's ugly as shit. Flag. That's not true. I'll be talking that shit.
That's sus as fuck. Flag.
Yeah. Oh man, I gotta be careful. I almost said something that was gonna get us taken off of YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta respect the LMNOP community. You gotta be careful.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, that was good. All right, so let's pick.
They do different things.
That's good. I will say too,
they do different things.
They do different things.
I'm done, man.
Let's pick them. 2 different things. Let's peek in the game, huh?
The Jewish Italian picture.
It's like he said he's Jewish, and then he's like, "Give me a pizza." I'm like, "That's not Jewish."
Oh my god! Holy cow!
That was a great one. All right, man. I will say, like, Matt Stafford's throwing a lot of interceptions.
He always does.
It's crazy, man. Like just to see like some of the decisions, I'm just like, man, like, what are you doing?
That man has no fear.
Yeah, no, that's true. He probably needs to have a little bit of fear. You got to quit giving the team the ball.
Wouldn't hurt.
You can't give the other team the ball all the time. Expect that to work out, as great as it has so far. All right, man. Just on that, Drew. Look, we all have rivalry games this week, okay? So we got the Titans.
Oh, that's so true. You guys got the Titans this week too.
Yeah, we got the Titans. You got the 49ers.
This is rivalry week for the pod.
Rivalry week for the 3-Man Rush podcast. And in keeping everything fair, you did pick us against the Titans. I will pick you against the 49ers. So
I'll return the favor, but I actually do feel like the Rams are the better team for sure in this matchup. San Francisco had some key injuries too last week.
I like the Rams defense.
And I think the Rams defense is good. And I don't trust San Francisco's secondary and the other end of that.
I also agree Raheem Morris will probably not be a coordinator.
He shouldn't have been. Look, that was a gripe. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was thankful for it, but that was a gripe that I had this past offseason is Raheem Morris should not have been our defensive coordinator this year because of what he showed last year. He should have been getting interviews and should have gotten a head coaching job this past offseason. Wonder why that didn't happen. But, every other coordinator that even sits in the same room as Sean McVay is getting head coaching jobs except for Raheem Morris, who had one of the best defenses in football last year. And, they just held the Cardinals offense who ran like 80-something plays. They didn't give up a single touchdown to a team that ran 80-plus plays last week. So, and that's without their number 2, 3, or 4 corner.
Thanks, Cliff.
Wow.
So, yeah, Raheem Morris definitely, we need to put some respect on his name.
Yeah, for sure. So, 49ers are favorited by 2.5 in this game.
Yeah,
let's go to that home.
Yeah, minus 133 favorites to win with a 42.5 point over under. So, low scoring game.
Also,
generally what happens in these, I'm probably taking the under in this game. I'll pick the Rams to win. So, love it. All right, guys. Well, that brings out our week 4. So, unfortunately, Drew will not be able to join us for our DFS preview for week 4. I know we skipped week 3. We had some scheduling stuff. There's more scheduling stuff, but me and Jared will be here to give you all the DFS goodies. More notably, him will be here for that. I'm just here so I won't get fined. We will be going live on that.
Any Italian Jewish quarterbacks out there. I'm very sorry for my remarks. I meant nothing by it.
Apologize to the Italian Jewish community.
I'm sure it's a big community.
Yeah,
I meant nothing by it. Every impression I do is Italian.
Yeah,
in all fairness.
exclusively New York, right there. Like, there's no way any of them live outside of the state of New York.
Yeah,
So,
if we get canceled, it'll be the Italian Jews or the LMNOP community. One of those two they're gonna get us. So we'll see.
If you guys like shenanigans too, the DFS show is nothing but like literally
ridiculous,
degenerate stuff that we're gonna do. So
it's definitely not quite as buckled up, which I know, like, after this episode, you're just like, this is buckled up. And I'm like, yes, this is buckled up.
Yeah, these are fun, man. I mean, some of these games are really hard to talk about. Like,
we gotta make it work. So another one here. We're over an hour and a half again. We're getting a little bit long-winded in these episodes, but they're getting more and more fun. They're getting fun.
So we're just doing different things.
That's the trade-off.
I mean,
we're doing different
things. We got 1,000. We finally got 1,000 views videos, and we're just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do something different.
We forgot to fucking act. We're all here acting like Alan Lazard now.
We're just doing different things. Some of us are catching the ball. Some of us are doing the dirty work. Some of us are making bad remarks about religious communities. That's what we're here for. So
I did not make it.
You talk about pizza. It was like you talk about Jews and pizza in the same. Like,
I didn't mean to, man. Like, every one of my impressions is Italian for some reason.
Every impression he makes doesn't matter. He'd be trying to.
Mamma mia. Like, it's just automatically like.
The only voice in his head is Super Mario at all.
Yeah, like, give us your best Tupac impression. He's just like, "Fuck you." Like, that's not what Tupac sounded like, Jared.
Fuck are you and the click are you claim.
Yeah. California knows how to party. Like,
Oh my God.
Come on, man. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and shut it down. That way we can get to some off the screen funny things that is not going to get us canceled on YouTube. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the bell notification. You can join us for that. And then don't forget, like I said, DFS show coming Friday, 9:30 p.m., 10:30 Eastern. We'll be dropping that. Maybe it might be a little bit earlier. We'll discuss it. But if it is earlier, we'll make sure to tweet it out on the podcast page at 3 Man Rush Podcast. So follow along for all scheduling updates, fun tweets, anything like that. Yeah, thank you guys so much for the support, and we will see you here in a couple of days.